Awesome. Well, I appreciate you all for being here today. As more people continue to jump in, we'll say hello to them as well. But we're going to get it started. So today we're going to talk about content strategy. So primarily around your content strategy on social media and kind of that voice that you need to create for yourself. But again, as you have questions, feel free to leverage the Q&A and the chat. But let's go ahead and get started. For those that haven't been here before, that are watching live, house rules, just focus undivided attention here and leverage the comments in the chat and the Q&A. Feel free to throw it in there, and I'm going to do my best to keep an eye on it and answer things as you guys have them. And again, if you're watching on the replay, feel free to throw those questions in the chat, and I'll jump in there and see whether you're watching this replay on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you may be. All right. And so what we'll cover today, we're going to be talking about choosing the right platform for both your social media audience, understanding said audience, what content creation strategies you should use, what you should even be creating content-wise. So we'll give some ideas. And engagement, obviously you want to create content and have it be engaging, have people interact. And so ways to do that, how to actually measure that success and overcoming some of the challenges that people have in terms of trying to even attempt to do social media. So those are the big things that we'll be covering today. Hopefully those are things that are interesting to you and why you're here and watching this to begin with. Okay. So what we kind of focus on here at Lyft Outreach Marketing, and again, I didn't even introduce myself. I'm Kelsey with Lyft, founder, CEO here. There's these different aspects of online marketing that we like to focus on, and we also take care of ourselves here as a company. But we'll be focusing a little bit more on social media today, and kind of that content creation side of things. And so first and foremost, before you even dive into jumping into social media and posting any sort of content, we want to make sure you're choosing the right platform. And so I know there's a lot of social media platforms on there. We're going to be talking about kind of the three go-tos today: Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Kind of a bonus fourth would kind of be LinkedIn if you're doing a lot more fleet accounts, and that's gonna kind of be where you build that relationship there. But for the most part, these are gonna kind of be your three bread and butters that you want to roll with: the Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, where you'll be able to touch most of your audience. Okay. So first and foremost, when we're talking about Facebook, so Facebook obviously is going to create a very wide reach and diverse user base. So you have people that are older and you have people that are much younger. It kind of has a really wide array of individuals and different ways that people leverage Facebook itself. One of the great ways to leverage Facebook is a group. And so I know it is time consuming to be able to create a group, but if you've never created a group before, I'm sure that you're a part of a group on Facebook, and you're in there seeing comments, whether it be a local platform or you're in an auto repair focused group. There's a lot of ways to leverage it, and you get a lot of good feedback, good information. And so one thing that I like to challenge other owners to do is create a local Facebook group for auto repair in your area, right? Whether you're posting tips, whether you're posting like things that you're doing at the shop, or again, just like maybe you just want a fun logo page. It doesn't even have to be about auto repair. It's creating something that creates prominence and trustworthiness behind your brand. I think that's something that's big, and a group and leveraging that is a great way to be able to hit your audience, your customers constantly, and seeing how great that you are. And also within Facebook, obviously you can run ads based on demographics, interests, behavior, things along those lines. So you want to make sure that you're leveraging it. Make sure that you have a Facebook business page. Some people don't even take that step of creating a page. Highly recommend you at least creating a page, and then now creating a separate business account. Don't just link the page to your personal profile. Create a business account. This way it allows you to do more things within ads. It allows you a lot more control and creation. You can give access to people, take them away as needed. So making sure you do those steps, do those things, create a separate ad account. Don't just boost posts. It's a very easy way to do things, but creating an ads manager account is very beneficial. You can do a lot more customization behind your ads if you're running them, and better bang for your buck there. Okay. Instagram is going to be high engagement rates, particularly it's going to be with a younger demographic, but obviously as we go through each and every year, that younger demographic becomes, and it's going to start to become your target customer base. So it's important to at least be engaged with Instagram. Great thing is Facebook and Instagram, they're owned by the same company. And so it's easy to post on both. So if you're doing one, you might as well post on the other. And you can do that through Meta. And in terms of making sure that things are just connected, posting automatically on each one. But for Instagram, visual content is going to work much better. So stories, reels, and potentially even going live in there. Those are going to be very beneficial ways to attach and do things that are within Instagram. And then features like tagging and location based. You want to make sure you're always doing those tags. Same thing for Facebook too, as well though. But this within Instagram itself, it increases the discover button and being able to be found there. So making sure that you're leveraging all the different kind of internal products within each platform is very important to be able to make sure you're leveraging it to the best of your abilities there. And then third is going to be YouTube. And so YouTube is a very powerful place, and especially because in this day and age, everyone loves videos. They love watching videos, love looking at them, and videos overall can, I mean, a long form video you can cut up into a bunch of short form videos that then work on all these other platforms as well. So it's a very powerful way to gain a lot of traction, improve SEO overall as well. If you kind of turn what's said in the video into actual content that then you can post. So there's a lot of powerful things that you can do within video. And obviously the hardest part, which we'll talk into, is just kind of making the time devotion to make said videos, but definitely a very powerful tool that you can constantly and always leverage. And so just in the chat here or in the comments as you're watching, who is leveraging all three? So if you're leveraging all three, can you throw a 3 in the chat? Or if you're only leveraging 2 or 1 or 0, throw those in there too. I would love to understand kind of what people are leveraging and using across the board. All right, so we have 2. Awesome. I'm assuming those are going to be Facebook and Instagram. YouTube typically will be the one that's left out. If it's not the one that's left out, if it's one of the 2, you can easily turn that into 3. We got 2.5. Cool. I'm guessing it's just probably the more powerful ability to leverage video a little bit better. We got some 3s in here. Sweet. Awesome. Well, I'm glad that people are at least leveraging it of some kind. Even if you are at 0, this is a great place to start. At least begin, create business pages for yourself across the board. Even if you're like, I don't have any videos, I don't have anything. So create it, create the account so that when the time comes, you have an easy place to then kind of post that and display it there. Oh, okay. Corey mentioned he has a 1 YouTube video. That's still, it's hard enough to get to that point. So I think you're doing a great job. It's just about keeping that momentum, especially in Corey, I know you do a great job of doing little short form videos on Facebook. And so those ones you can easily throw onto YouTube as well. Just again, have your audience be everywhere, as many places as possible. It doesn't have to be a super fancy video or anything like that. They can start off raw, and then from there you can work on just playing with your editing abilities. So again, the most important thing is leveraging social media and all that it has to offer. A lot of people use it. I know some people are very passionate against social media, not having these things. And I think that's totally fair. It consumes a lot of people's time for the wrong reasons. But at the same time, a lot of your audience is spending their time there. And so why not get to know them there on those platforms, building trust, not only in word of mouth, but kind of creating that word of mouth presence on the internet is a very powerful thing. And so making sure that you're leveraging it of some kind to increase awareness is going to be crucial here. So common questions or concerns your customers may have that can be answered via social media. So we're going to go over what some of those common questions and concerns are. So how can a customer tell what's wrong with their vehicle? It's a common question that is searched on the web. And so that's a great opportunity for then yourself as an owner to see like, okay, what are common things that people are even bringing into the store? Say that like, oh, I'm hearing unusual noises. Usually, I mean, I'm sure the writer, I take my car in today because the battery died. But the advisor at the front desk asked right away, like, okay, so what are the issues? And I'm sure like there's going to be common issues that people are like, they don't know what's wrong. They just kind of hear what's wrong or they smell what's wrong. And so going through those things and those behaviors and giving examples in the form of a video while you're at the shop is really powerful. It kind of starts building that trust, like, oh, they know how to take care of this issue that I've been wondering about all this time. And even if they don't choose you, you're that person that they saw, they thought of, kind of building that trust and traction. So little simple things. Again, it doesn't have to be a long video. And it's like, it can be a quick video where you're like, hey, are you wondering what that squeaking noise is with your car? And then you like can show the video and say like, hey, this is when the brakes are done, and that's why they're grinding, or well, again, whatever it may be. You can go through, you can make it fun, you can make it more professional and informative, but doing them is a huge step to be able to accomplish there. What can a customer do at home? So some people want to do things themselves, and so I know there's some people like they don't even want these customers that are going to be the ones that do it themselves, or they maybe don't, they feel like they're going to give away tricks of the trade. My opinion is be service oriented. You guys are all already in a business that's very, very service oriented. And so by you displaying like, hey, this is how you can do something yourself, that's great. Maybe it captures some of those people that are actually going to do it themselves, but most people are not going to do it themselves. They just now know that you know how to do it, and they'll come in and to you because now they trust you, and they're like, wow, that was super nice of them to be able to share that with other people. But I know for myself, I'm not going to do it, and so they'll come in and take it into your shop. So those are maybe change this for some people. Just change the framework in which you look into things. Just like, and give, and naturally you'll receive things without even trying. And so that's a big thing that I try to always do in terms of what we do here. Is like, hey, yep, some people will do it themselves. That's fantastic, but there will be a bunch of people that will not, and those are the things that you want to build trust with across your community. And then when should a customer see a professional? And then explaining what concerns require a professional, and what things are maybe like, hey, these are things you definitely should not do on your own. And so like when you run into this problem, and so and showing what process it would be like to give you guys a call and do the booking there. So those are different, again, concerns and questions that you kind of we've seen populate through the web, and ways that you can answer it via a post or via a video or whatever it may be, and how you can kind of cater your content to the concerns of the community. So the more that you understand the concerns, the more that you'll find like a common ground of like, okay, this is like the thing that people keep bringing up. Maybe if I did a little post about it, or I did a little video about it, it could just naturally reach more people constantly as it's going along. Okay, so those are just like 3 basic examples. I'm sure there are a bunch more out there. So I mean, I'll throw out the question: Is there a common question that you like, other than these, that you've seen your customers constantly bringing up in terms of why they're coming in? Is there anything, maybe if just for people as they're seeing, that way I can say them out loud and give the audience more ideas and tips? And if you're not comfortable sharing, turn signal is blinking fast. That's a great one. I think so. That's one that just like annoys people and drives them crazy. And so yeah, that's another one where you can share like, yeah, are you annoyed to turn your turn signal blinking too fast? Like, this is what's going on, and you kind of explaining how you can diagnose and fix it. So that's a great one. Perfect. Yeah, if there's any others, I mean, feel free to throw it in the chat. And again, if you're watching on the replay, throw it in the comments, and that'd be a great one to do. We have financial concerns, so trying to do more at home. Yeah, there's people, again, they have constraints and financial, and also like displaying maybe like if you have some sort of a payment program plan and what it sort of looks like, how simple it is to use. That could be a great thing to display in a post. So yeah, awesome. Let's keep going. So here we've kind of broken down the audience or your customer base into 5 types. Granted, will they fit perfectly into these 5 types? No, not necessarily. This is just for the sake of kind of bubbling customers into certain sectors, so then that way we can display how you would then create content for said audience. So it's really important to understand the audience that you're speaking to. If you have no idea who you're speaking to, then your content is probably going to be pointless. You're going to kind of be all over the place, gaining no traction whatsoever, and thus you're going to get burnt out, feeling like you're wasting your time, and then it becomes a very low priority. So first and foremost, you want to understand the audience, and maybe even one post does not need to speak to every single person. And so understanding like, yeah, this is my go-to audience, this is who I want to speak to the most often, then you can mix it up in terms of what the audience is. So first and foremost, your prime audience is going to be local community members. And so like, granted, like some individuals are going to kind of fit within even silos of this local community members that do it themselves or whatever it may be. But obviously prime audience is going to be local community people that are going to actually show up to the shop, because your reach within content might not necessarily always just reach local community people. They might see, as you gain more traction, they might see your video that you made and they're in a totally different state, but now they know that like, oh, this was an amazing video. It just kind of gains that overall traction and hits more local community members because more people are engaging with your content. And so first and foremost, you want to understand who those people are, what they do the most on. Number two, you're going to internet-based audience, so car enthusiasts. And so that'd be another form of audience that you're reaching out to there. Number three is going to be educational seekers. So like do-it-yourself people, kind of breaking down how to do things themselves there. Number four is going to be information seekers. So vehicle owners just seeking advice about something, not necessarily having that buyer intent. And number five, we're going to be market researchers. So new and used car buyers and things like that. So that's kind of how we broke up the audience for the sake of this example as we go through this. Again, I'm sure there's more bubbles we could have made, but we made five for this time. So forgive me as we go through this. But now, as we understand the audience, we need to create content for these people. So I'm going to share real examples of different shops that we support and content ideas that they've done themselves or that we've had a piece in the pie of suggesting, and how we go about looking at and posting and doing these things to engage with the audience. Some things we've never even done. And so those are just ideas and things that you all can feel free to run with. But obviously, if you need help executing, always reach out, ask, give you ideas of how to make things a little bit easier for yourself to execute said things. So content strategy ideas, so we're going to break these down, but again, examples, spend a day at the shop. So we'll go through and talk about that. An educational piece of content, highlighting customer testimonials, and then engagement and community building. So first and foremost, we want to go over creating content that's telling a story. So an auto owner can leverage storytelling through social media to create trust and loyalty, obviously. But now the trick is, like, how do you display the proper story to be able to tell, to be able to have customers go through and trust you. And so the key to me is just being genuine. Like, again, having that focus of being service oriented, serve first, not looking to see like, what am I going to get in return for said action taking place, because then that will come off that way in your post or your video in terms of like, yeah, look at me and this, like things are gonna come back to me because of this. Like, no, like, hey, look and see how you can help and serve, and again, the rest will take care of itself. But then through storytelling, we want to dig in a little bit and be able to describe those things.
So Tony Ray showed me, or is trying to show me, an issue with this lovely Ford F-150. He's trying to get the brake service. So what you got going on, Tony Ray?
Caliper's getting hard to push in because they don't really make a tool for this yet, or I haven't seen one.
Gotcha.
Except for this one, and it broke.
Nice. So you feel like it's a caliper issue at that point?
No, I mean, they got the electric brake. I put it in maintenance mode so it would go back in. But it's just hard to get anything to go in there, and like,
oh, for the tool itself.
Cars, they make them where there's like 2 or 4, but not 3.
They do have another kit.
This is Tori.
It's got the 3.
They do?
Yeah, I saw it on them flyers up there.
Dude, I'm gonna have to buy that
And I was looking for that socket for this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and again, this is a short clip version of the video. It kind of keeps going, just explaining like, okay, yeah, what's going on, and you can see like this is not like a professional ordeal of having a super fancy camera or anything like that. Like there was a little mic attachment there, and this is with a phone, and this was just walking through, and it does plenty good, and it creates a real genuine feel of like, what is it like at the shop, how the team looks at things. Again, displaying these things gives a peek behind the curtain. And again, people like to see those things, and they like to see like, oh, this is a real place, and this is like a family-owned business, and they're taking care of the community. Those are things that people love to be able to see. And so again, you don't need to wait for, oh, I need to probably order a fancy camera or a fancy microphone or a fancy setup to have this all happen. Like, no, it like raw footage is genuine and real, and can go a long way too. Just obviously you want it to be a little bit clear, and phones these days are plenty clear. Unless you have a really ancient phone, then maybe we might need to upgrade to get something a little bit better. But overall, you can see here, this is just kind of a really quick thing of a car on a lift, showing like, hey, this is what we heard. This is what's going on. How are we going to fix this? And having a team member explain that. It's pretty cool. And so the benefit, so now there's an emotional connection. They see people at the shop and they should see how you guys talk with each other, how it's friendly. You can, when the shop's really clean, you can see the cleanliness of the shop. So again, you're building that connection with the audience. And then more so it shows personality. It shows that it's just not like a computer that's creating all this content. It's real people, people they see in the community, I'm sure, that know who these people are, and gives it a lot more family friendly vibes. That's what the whole point is. Becoming familiar with the shop, as we already mentioned, and then target your primary audience. And so the everyday vehicle that has brakes that need to be done, I mean, it's pretty common. And so again, we want to make sure that you're addressing these things. As basic as you maybe feel that they are, most people know nothing. Like I could go with that mindset, like they don't know anything, and now they hear certain words that they recognize, like, oh, brakes, I need those to work. Oh, it's making noise, mine are making noise. And so like they kind of resonate with that, and then they're like, oh, maybe I should take it into there. So those are little things that we want to make sure that you guys are going through and thinking about there. Okay. So next form of video is educate. And so obviously we want to be able to teach the audience that you are the expert in the field. There's just no one else know their shop they should be going to. Yes, other shops know, hopefully know what they're doing too, but you want to display that knowledge up front and showing that you guys fully understand what's going on through kind of short form little videos. So an example that we have here. So I'm not going to double click on. I think it's going to create a bunch of lag. So this channel, this shop that we're supporting. So it's like, what's a tune-up? What's the process of an oil change? It's again very basic words, and then there's a service advisor or a technician explaining what it is, what the process is there at the shop.
Tune-ups today look a little different than they looked 25 years ago. So let's talk about it. The first and main part of a tune-up is the spark plugs, and they come in multiple different flavors. Copper is the least expensive, but it only lasts about 30,000 miles. Some vehicles come standard with the copper plug, so keep that in mind. You also can get iridium or platinum plugs. These plugs tend to last between 90 to 120,000 miles. Some vehicles do require the use of iridium and platinum plugs. There are also other forms of plugs, but those are the three most common that you're going to see.
So any questions so far as we've gone through both kind of story behind the scenes, day at the shop. We've gone through informational, literally like what is XYZ, and like it can be very basic. You're like, oh, I think everyone knows that anyways. Who cares? Like just make it yourself, and then know that you're getting out there in front and displaying your knowledge. So this sort of benefit targets like obviously the DIY people, information seekers, potential buyers. I mean, it's gonna really hit up everyone across the board. But when people understand your process, it kind of builds that trust. A question we have: are videos better than photos? What type of brand voice should I convey across social media? And so videos, in my opinion, they create more stickiness in terms of social media itself. So I don't know how many of you go through and scroll on your phone, but like as people scroll, they're on it for like sometimes less than a second. They'll scroll, they see it, they swipe, and they keep going. With a video, it creates kind of a shift in motion on their eyes and keeps them on that post a little bit longer. And obviously the stickier that your content is, the longer that they're there, the more the brand has a chance to resonate with that. Will it happen after the first go? Probably not. So it's just about the consistency of like blending in both posts and videos. Not every post needs to be a video, but definitely mixing those in can be a very, very powerful way to reach your audience and have them engage with what's going on. It keeps them there, and especially if you're for the video, you're leading them to say booking an appointment at the end or whatever it may be. It's an easy link there. It creates that flow through process. So that's my take there in terms of video versus photo. Okay. Do you recommend get to know you style videos for the team? I think that would be awesome. Obviously your team changes, but like giving a peek behind like who are the technicians, who are the writers, who are they going to see when they walk through the doors? It's going to be like, yeah, like this super friendly, welcoming individual that you guys picked that is amazing at their role, and they're talking with the camera and like, here's the process of when you come into the store. And again, I think those are all great ways of telling a story of the shop and making it building that personal connection. So again, great recommendation there. All right, perfect. Let's keep rolling. So yeah, building that trust and credibility. I think we already chatted about that in terms of customer preferred businesses that are open and honest about their operations and values. If you never share it, people don't know. And so don't be afraid to share what your mission is, what your vision is, what you believe in, both with your team, but also with their customers. And then making sure that that's being held accountable, that those things are actually taking place and happening. And make sure that you're always sharing your customer testimonials. Like you worked hard to get the Google review. You want to make sure that you're now displaying that, like in posts or whatever it may be. Again, getting a video testimonial of a customer doing it is even better. I think a really, really powerful way to create a lot better word of mouth with people that recognize a face. But still, as a bare minimum, make a post of highlighting a review that you've gotten. Again, you worked hard for that. You're doing an amazing service. You got a 5-star review. It's okay to like humble brag in the sense of letting the community know of someone that was really happy with coming there. Because again, people want to see and build that trust with you. So share it. Don't hesitate. I see too many people being like, well, I don't want to be that person, or I feel like that's bragging or anything. Like, again, if someone takes it that way, that's really on them. But you're just kind of like showing how proud you are of the team. I mean, like making sure that they know, and the community knows that you guys are crushing it out there. And so again, people only know what they know and what they see. And so if you don't make that visible, no one's gonna know what's going on. So don't hesitate. Don't be afraid to do those things. The benefits, again, transparency, authenticity. Over like the bunch of studies on this, so obviously various percentages, but always very, very high. But here we found 92% of customers admit authentic reviews persuade them to make a purchase or go to the shop. So you want to make sure that you're getting a good amount of real, authentic reviews. Never pay for reviews, especially if you're starting. I know sometimes it's stressful. You're like, how do I get more reviews? And then there's people out there that like offer you like, I can get you 25 5-star reviews or whatever it is. Never do that. Just do it through your hard work. Hopefully you have some sort of texting tool that can make it easy, like it's texting with them, sending them a link, things like that, or having a QR code at the shop. Ideally, you want them to leave a review when they're at home. Works a little bit better, but at bare minimum, if you have it at the shop, that works too. At least getting the reviews, especially early on, and building that traction. Okay. And then entertain, I think that goes along the lines of even sharing things about the team and being fun. You want to keep things loose there. Yes, obviously you have a professional band. You guys are all professionals. But at the same time, people want to resonate and relate. And when it's fun and entertaining, that can be really cool too. So here's an example of a little video one of our shops made of a podcast they do, and then kind of a little fun reel that they made. Let's see if we can play it here.
What you should look for in a repair shop.
My father-in-law once told me when I first started in this industry as a technician, everyone needs to have a good attorney, a good doctor, and a good mechanic. Finding someone that you can trust, that you know takes care of your car and has your travel safety in their best interest, I think is really important.
It's a short little reel of a little snippet from a podcast that they're doing in their community, and they kind of made it fun based on the words and like throwing like a face overlaid on top of a person. It's a little bit of a funny thing that they did here, but again, it's just a way to show like a peek behind the curtain. Both this is the owner and as well as a member on the team there, and just kind of making fun of the situation that they describe. And yeah, doing things like this, I think, are awesome, and if people love it, they relate to it, and it gets them coming back through the door. So, and I apologize that wasn't playing. All right, I just every time I click play, it just pauses itself. So I'll post it. I'll throw it in the comments. But it encourages audience to watch full length. So if you do a podcast, not that you have to do anything like that. But if you do something like that, a short form video of your longer form thing can encourage them to watch and engage even longer. Keeps audience wanting more, keeps it fun, keeps it light. So yeah. And now that when you make those posts, you want to make sure you're engaging with the audience. Don't just make the posts, let people comment, let people like, and not say anything. You want to make sure that you're responding back to them. That it benefits the algorithm within social media so much when you are commenting back to them. So like you want to make sure that you're commenting back to people, even maybe asking them a question back within the reply of the comment to kind of keep the conversation going, create more comments that happen with it within the post. Those are all great ways to increase the likelihood that more eyeballs see it. And so make sure that you're not just taking that for granted and making the post. Who cares? It'll be no one's going to see it anyways. But again, when those likes and comments come through, you want to make sure that you're communicating with the audience so they see that a real person is behind the scenes there. Sending a message, even direct message to people that were looking for help. You can mention that behind the scenes. Ask questions, post about local events that are not just yours. Like again, working with other businesses in the community, sharing their event, even if you're not partnering with them, just sharing their event and things that just shows how involved you are with the community goes a long way. But when you partner with them in little events too, that works amazingly well, creates a lot of great internal linking, especially if like they get a link on their website too that points back to yours. Those are called backlinks. Very powerful, especially when they're locally oriented. Those are very hard to get. And so it takes time to build those relationships, but do not hesitate to post and share about them. Nothing needs to be a secret. Marketing is not about being a secret. It's about sharing your story, engaging with the audience. Okay. And so measuring success, there's different analytics that are always going to be in the different social media platforms. Make sure you're looking at it. Make sure you're seeing like, okay, yeah, this post actually is not working very well. The reach is very low. Engagement rate was low. Or this post, why did more people comment a bunch of times on it? Like what was it about it? But what did it also like lead to any conversions? Did it lead to anything? Like, yes, it's great to make kind of, maybe you have an open question, or you say like, hey, put a meme or a GIF representing this thing to you, and people are leaving a bunch of comments on there. But like, again, it's not really gaining any good conversion for the business. And so you don't want to do that too many times. Just getting engagement is not always necessarily the best thing. But again, it is great to have some sort of engagement. So mixing those things in can be a great way with content and leveraging that a little bit better. Tools for tracking, there's the platform insights, Google Analytics. There's lots of tracking tools on there, lots of free options too. So make sure you exhaust those first before leveraging for anything paid, especially at the scale you're focusing on, say one shop, maybe you have multi-shops. Really, I don't think you're ever in a position where you need a tool for that. When you're like, for us as a marketing business, yes, we leverage paid tools to, again, we're managing things at scale for a lot of different businesses. So that's when that's needed. But for the most part, there's a lot of great free insights just within social media itself. So leverage those things, gives you a lot of good data. And again, just make sure you're looking at it and aware of what those are. If you're not sure what any of the numbers mean, ask, and feel free to ask me. I'll be happy to answer and show you kind of why did the engagement rate increase for a said post. We can talk about that and see like, okay, how do we cater to that type of person a little bit more if it actually brought kind of good traction into the store. Okay. And so overcoming common challenges. So obviously making all these posts and video and everything can be a challenge because you probably like not necessarily want to do it yourself nor have the time to. So different time management, content ideas, adapting to platforms, algorithm, those are going to be things that I want to chat about a little bit here. And so time management wise, you want to a thing that I think works really well is creating your content in advance. You don't need to just be the day of, oh, what do I need to post again today? You want to create your content, say, like for the next month, a couple of weeks in advance. That's kind of what we do for our clients. So that way they have time to review it. But that way you're not in this humongous rush each and every day or finding it a burden each and every day. You're just devoting, hey, I want to devote 30 minutes. I'm going to devote an hour to make all the posts for next month. And this is how many posts I want to make. And this is what I want it to be about. Maybe you don't have like, I need to make that video on that one thing I want to make it about right now or by that time. But at least you know what is coming, what you need to do. So creating a content calendar, and then literally you can even make all the posts and schedule them to go out on the given days all at one time too, within social media. So doing those things again ahead of time, being proactive, can make your life way simpler. Don't need to stress about like, oh, what do I need to do today? And so because when you get into the flow of doing it, like the content ideas start coming a little bit more naturally for you. And you can even like theme days out of the week out, things like that. Again, makes it work a little bit better. So that goes into the next thing of generating the content. Ask your audience and then content theme. So theming we've seen work pretty well in terms of being able to like regularly create content. So now you know like behind what idea you need to make a certain thing on a certain day for. And like even just asking people like as they come through, like, hey, I don't know if you checked out our social media platform, but what do you think would be helpful like that we post on there more often? And people have great ideas and they're a customer. So like hearing their ideas works a long way. Or you can even post and ask people. So great things to leverage there when generating content. And then the platform algorithms, understanding what is making things appear is going to be important within social media. Diversifying your social media presence and staying informed of what is going on. The biggest thing is knowing what kind of post is working and getting the best reach right now. Sometimes it's going to be a basic photo of your family from the shop. Like that's what, for whatever reason, that's what's working really well right now. A lot of people, like the algorithm's liking it, it's showing it to a lot of people. So it's like, okay, I need to make that into an ad then probably because that's working really well. Or other time it's going to be like, nope, it's going to be this short form video that it was between 30 seconds to 45 seconds long. And it was talking about an informative piece of a service that we offer. Like that's what happens to be working right now really well and getting a lot of traction. So just understanding that, I think it's going to be a big thing to consistently be able to do. Okay. So that, in recap, I mean, again, you want to choose the right platform, understand your audience, strategize what content needs to be created, and then now engage with said audience. Those are going to be the biggest things. On top of that, measure it, check, see what's working, what's not, and then find ways just to do it. I think that's the biggest thing. Social media is about consistency, like regularly making things happen. If you can't do it yourself, hire someone to do it for you. Or if you're like, no, I can't afford someone to do it for me, then I mean, AI is a pretty powerful tool these days, and it can get you a pretty good ways forward. Or if you're like, you know what, I have a kid in college that needs some extra money, and you don't want to just send them money to send them money. Here's a little thing that they can do, or whatever it may be. But again, you don't want just to have aimless posts that have no purpose. You want to find ways to just get it to get them done with a proper strategy behind it. All right. So are there any questions and anything that I can help answer for any of you? Again, I appreciate you all being here on the live. I appreciate you all still watching on the replay. But is there any other questions I can help answer? All right, how should I respond to negative reviews or comments on social media? Do I delete them? Oof, that's a great question. I'm in the idea that you never want to delete any comments. I think it's a way more powerful for you to be able to answer them in a very genuine way, and then just deleting something, because people like to see how you react to difficult situations, especially as the owner of a shop, and maybe they just like, hey, they don't know the full story, and you don't want people like, oh, I saw that comment and they took it away. They're trying to hide it. So you don't want to go down that route. But also you don't want to be too emotionally behind said comments. I know like receiving a negative comment or feedback, that sucks, and it doesn't make you feel good inside. And especially like if you knew what happened, like that person is full of it. Like there's no way that like the way that they're describing the situation is not what took place. But still, you want to take a step back and say, hey, I would like commenting in the sense of like, hey, I would love to have a phone conversation about this, of what took place. This is how I understand it, but I would love to understand your perspective a little bit more. Again, just coming with that like service orientation, very humbleness into the picture. Very difficult to do, but when people see that goes a very long way, and they give you a lot of leeway in what took place, especially if it really was your fault on your end. So you want to make sure you're just being transparent, being trustworthy with the audience. So great question. I know that's scary for people. Like you probably had the need to just delete and hide comments when they're not good. So like reviews are harder to delete and hide. But yeah, when it comes to social media, I always suggest let's leaving it there, commenting well around it. All right. Awesome. Well, again, I appreciate you all being here. If you're like, hey, you know what, I need some of these things taken care of for me, or I need a pair of eyes to help me understand like what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, we would love to do a free strategy session with you. We sit down, we go over both what your shop looks like your dynamic, your size, but also like we'll have some research done. Like, okay, this is what things look like. These are the things you should adjust. These are things that are going well, or maybe nothing's going well, or everything's going right, and you keep up the momentum, or whatever it may be. We'll share those things with you. If you're like, you know what, I actually want these things taken care of for me, great. We can talk about those things too, and if it makes sense for us to be the partner for you. We also have a free marketing checklist online. If you go to go.liftautorepairmarketing.com/marketing checklist, it just breaks down different dynamics of your online marketing. If things are, you just want to make sure those things are done and in the right way. Okay. And then if you're not already, a Facebook group, we talked a lot about it. We have a Facebook group, Auto Repair Shop Owners Mastermind. Feel free to check it out. We have nearly 1,500 owners in there, kind of sharing different questions or successes or whatever it may be across the board, and could be a great way to ask others that maybe are having more success than you, or why, how are you guys doing it, and just building that relationship there. Then also we have a book, Drive More Business, Step-by-Step Guide to Internet Marketing for Auto Repair Shop. So it's almost like all of our webinars combined into a book. So that way you can sit through, flip through. It even literally like click by click at times of like, how do I create a Facebook business page? And this is what it looks like. Granted, that's constantly changing every day in terms of what that looks like in terms of in Facebook itself. But at least it'll give you an idea of like where to go, what step-by-step to look at, and just different aspects of your online marketing to ensure that they're done. All right. Perfect. That is everything for me. Again, I thank you all so much for taking the time to spend with us today and go over these things. If there's any other questions, feel free to shoot them in the comments. Feel free to reach out to me on Facebook, email, give us a call, whatever works best for you. But again, I thank you all for being here. Hope this is helpful, and we'll talk to you all again soon. Thanks.